Welcome back to Business Connection. Joining me now is Wendy Hayum-Gross from Grow Wellness Group. Welcome, Wendy. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Liz.
So tell me a little bit about what services you offer and who do you work with?
Sure, I'd be glad to. We are a full-service counseling practice in town. We work with ages 2 and up, and we have a whole bunch of fun things going on at the offices. We do counseling, psychological testing. We have a sports psychology department, yoga therapy, and I probably missed something in there, but if it's about your mental wellness, we probably do that.
That's awesome. And what are some of the priorities in your practice? You have a lot of things going on, so how do you keep them all balanced? And
that's a great question. I'm glad you think we're balanced. Let me start there. I think it's the philosophy that we have when we started 4 years ago. It's that we're human beings and we're here to help human beings. So anything that we do, everything that we do is based on kind of like the golden rule. Is this how I would want to be treated if I were going somewhere? So our priorities tend to revolve around meeting people where they're at, providing services to people where they're at, and if we don't have what someone's looking for, referring them to people who do.
Well, and I think that's interesting because I think that the wellness therapy group in industry maybe didn't always get together as well and refer people out. So tell me a little bit about how things have changed.
I call those things my COVID positives, right? Because we all have so many COVID negatives that affected us, but there have been some positives. One of those is maybe, I call it the old days. We used to compete for clients at some point, right? If there's a client, well, are they going to pick practice A or practice B or practice C? And we had a little competition going on. But the beauty of COVID is now when people feel they need some help, they want to talk to someone, they reach out. So there's clients for everyone. So what we do is when we meet someone, we find out what they're looking for. If we have it, fabulous, we get them an appointment. If we find it something that we don't have an expertise in, we call up our partners, other practices in town that we work with that we respect and admire their practitioners, and we refer them to people who can help them.
Well, I think that's important because I think I think people have finally felt comfortable enough to say, hey, I need to talk to someone that's not a family or friend, because there's a difference.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes it's hard to get an appointment where if you call one place they don't have, they can say, but I can try to help you find something. And I think that's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about when I am choosing a therapist. How do I know I'm doing it right? Because I think we always worry that first step is hard.
It is. That is the hardest step, right?
Yes.
It's like the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
Right.
And that's a big step. And you could probably talk to 10 people and get 10 different, bits of advice of how to do this. I'm a big fan of going on websites, looking at the bios and the pictures of the therapists. And the bios are great. And I would say don't get too hung up in what letters people have, because if people are counseling, they have been trained to be a counselor. If they're a social worker, psychologist, counselor, again, don't worry. Look at their pictures. You're going to be in a room with this person for an hour and you're going to want to share and feel comfortable with them. Look at their faces. If it feels like somebody that you could talk to, that's the person to ask for. But you're right. Practices are busier. Therapists are busier. Also, take the advice of the person answering the phone. Intake managers know the therapists, and sometimes they know more than we know. And when you tell them what's going on, let them make suggestions who they think might be a good fit, because that's what they're trained to do.
That's great advice. That's great advice. I like the name of your company, Grow Wellness. Tell me a little bit about why you call your practice Grow Wellness.
That was on purpose. Okay. So many mental wellness, mental health practices are called something clinical, something medical, something, and again, when we talk about people are people, all people. And I don't want someone feeling like they're a diagnosis. And we get those calls sometimes. Someone will call and say, hey, I have this, 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 and this. And then they want us to say, well, this is what we do for this, this, and this. And the truth is, no one is a diagnosis. We're all individuals. We all have things that trip us up. And so we wanted to focus on wellness because, again, human condition, right? We all want to be well. We want to be spiritually well. We want to be physically well. We want to be emotionally well. And they're all connected. And again, we just don't want anyone to come saying, oh gosh, I have an illness, I have a disease, I have a sickness, and this is why I'm going. We're all on the road to being well.
I think that's awesome. And you mentioned the physical part of that. So is that how you decided to add a yoga and bar studio into the space?
Our team is so tired of this joke, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, I'll take
but it is funny. I mean, and it's true if you really think about it. I don't know who separated mind from body. I don't know. Was it Freud? Was it so? I don't know. Someone did. And now we have this thing, oh, there's mind body wellness. Well, one, if you don't feel well physically, do you feel your best emotionally? No. And if you don't feel well emotionally, do you have pain, or we call it our gut is our second brain, right? Mm-hmm. We have physical symptoms of things like anxiety, depression. We can't help separate mind from body. And there's a big connector between mind and body, and it's called your neck. And we've always had one. So we just feel that you can't separate the two. Part of mental wellness is physical wellness. And just like it's hard to get an appointment to talk to someone, sometimes if you haven't been physically active, it's really hard to take that first step to walk into a gym or a fitness center. And we focus on the types of physical activity that we know clinically, evidence-based help with mental wellness. So a meditation, yoga. We have some active bar classes too, because, moving is good for us. Mm-hmm. But we understand that our mental wellness is really based on many things. Part of it is physical movement, part of it is nutrition, and then the other part of it is that kind of need for sleep, right, mm-hmm. that we all have too, and they all play together. I have this lovely 3-legged table in my office, and I always say one leg is sleep, one leg is nutrition, one leg is movement, and when all those three are in balance, your top of your table will be smooth, and that's how we want you to feel.
That's awesome. Well, I think you're really on to something there, so I applaud you for that. You also are busy giving back to the community, so I don't know how you figure out how you get this balanced into your life too, but tell me what you're doing with the community. This is cool.
Well, thank you. So our philosophy from the beginning has been that we are part of this community. We want to give back to the community. And since the day we started, we've offered reduced fee and pro bono services to people in the community that don't have access to mental health resources. I think last year we had over 200 pro bono and reduced fee clients. And that's just something we believe in, as a company, I guess we'd say. However, the need is far more mm-hmm. than 200 people in this area. And so we started a foundation, and actually the yoga studio that we just talked about, any proceeds from it fund the foundation.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it kind of ties all back in together. And that foundation, we work with individuals so that we can branch out and reach more people. And we're also starting to work in the schools and providing support for students at risk and for staff. So we really want to make our community a better community, and we love the other nonprofits in the community. We work with them also. Samarica, 360 Youth Services. We want to partner with them. But again, the amount of need that has surfaced the past 3 to 5 years has surpassed what all those organizations can do. So again, we're partnering, we're helping people that are unable to secure services through those places, and we hope to do more of that in the future.
That's awesome. Well, you are a great friend to not-for-profits, and NCTV 17 has always appreciated your support, so thank you so much for that. And thanks for coming on and sharing about what you do over at Grow Wellness. It's super cool, and everybody should think about their mental health as it's the key to happiness.
Well, thank you for giving us a space to talk about it.
If you want to learn more about the Grow Wellness Group, please visit their website.